Hello Internet, my name is Chad Mastag and I'm going to present to you how to actually play Everything versus Everything. Now a little bit of a brief introduction. I've been working on this game for about a year and a half, and what it is, it's just a whole bunch of characters that kind of go battling head to head, and there's lots of little different efforts, lots of different little things that go on in the game, but it's essentially a team versus team match. And you're going to use cards and you're going to use dice. If you want to play solitaire, you need to have some special director cards, but we'll go over that in a sec. The purpose of this game is to, how do you actually win? What you need to do is at the end of the game, you want to have more little pips on your characters than your opponent. And these little pips basically on the dice count as hit points, so HP. Now the HP dice have little special mechanics centered around them. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to actually beat your opponent in terms of HP. You're going to do direct damage to each other, you're going to remove HP. In some cases you'll do other things too. But functionally, you're trying to have more hit points than your opponent on all your characters combined. I'll go over how to play. Now the first thing you want to do is you actually want to set up the game. Now to set up the game, you're actually going to do quite a few things. You're going to take your big giant deck of character cards. Now I've already started some of the stuff out a little bit already. You're going to take your giant deck of character cards. You can, if you choose one character for each side. So if I'm player one, I can choose one character. If you do specifically, then you have to show it to your opponent. So in this game right here, I'm going to play with the Incredible Hulk as one of my characters. Now, I have to show it to my opponent if I'm going to do that. Now, as an option, I don't necessarily have to do that. I could just sit there and go with a random draw from the deck, but it'll kind of work out what have you. Your opponent will then do the same. If you're facing with the director, you're not going to do the same. Now, I've already set up these decks. I'm going to play an average difficulty game with using slightly difficult director deck cards, but I'll go over that in a sec. What you need to do is you need to make shuffle up. If you've chosen an original game, if you've chosen one character, then you need to make 5 piles with 5 cards in each pile, 5 character cards in each pile. If you're playing a more difficult game, you need 6. If you're an easier game, you need 6 characters in each pile. If you're going to 4, if you're going for a more difficult game, then you need 4 characters in each pile. If you're not going to choose a character, then you need 6 piles as opposed to 5, because you're going to start off the game with 6 characters out of 129 characters possible in this game. Okay, once you've actually selected your characters, once you've actually sorted out your piles, then you need to, each player will go through their list of piles and individually choose one card from each pile. Now, you do not look at the other piles until you've actually chosen them. So in this case, I already have the Incredible Hulk. I'm going to take a look at the other cards. For this case, I am going to choose to use Codex from the guild. She's kind of cool. She's a healer character. She doesn't really do a lot of damage, but she's probably one of the best healers in the game. These cards are now removed from the game, so I just put them off to the side because they won't have any play in this game. Now I'm going to choose to go through my second deck. There's 5 options here. In this case right here, I'm going to go with Wolverine from X-Men. He's going to go into a pile right in front of me. Now, if I'm playing with a live opponent, I don't really want them to know all the cards I'm choosing because that would directly affect who they would choose as well. But each of them has individual powers. Every card is different. Every character card is different, and they all have very, very, very strange esoteric effects. Lots of things happening in this game. Wolverine, in this case, he can heal himself, which is good, and then he can potentially do a lot of damage if you get lucky. I'll go over how he works in a second. One of the things I'm choosing when I'm actually choosing my characters cards is I do want to actually line it so that my individual costs of the cards match. I'll go over that how to play a character ability once I actually start covering the game. But you're just kind of going through and choose. So I'm just going to keep going. I actually have went through these decks a little bit before just to kind of save time. But you kind of look through all the characters' abilities and say, okay, well, I like this one. What does it cost to actually activate ability? I'll go over that in a sec. In this case, I'm going to choose Grimlock. He can do lots of good damage, and he can actually potentially even attack multiple characters, which makes him useful. In the next deck, I'm going to go through and I'm going to choose Sephiroth from Final Fantasy. He's a fantastic character. He does lots of damage. I kind of went with a very damage-heavy deck for my characters. Right now I have a human, a cartoon, a human, a machine, a cartoon. For my last character, I'm going to choose Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man has some effects that are quite useful and do lots of cool things. Once I've actually went through the entire deck of character cards, then I'm going to choose to place them on the board. Now, actually, now I'm going to keep one as a sub, so there's always one space open on my side, and that's what they call it. Each of these spaces in front of one of these cards is a open field space. These cards I've just put these as placeholders to say this is one of the spaces that character will go on this side and the character will go on this side for each individual side. Now, my characters, you probably can't see them very well from here, but that's okay. I'm going to choose to hold. I'm going to choose to hold back one. I'm going to choose to pump them into the game as I need them, because in this case, Wolverine will he has an ability called an always active ability. Always active means that throughout the game, his ability is going to take effect as long as its conditions are triggered, but you don't need to spend energy cards to activate an ability. I'll go over that right now. Each individual character has abilities on each of the cards. Most of the cards have 2 abilities. There's a few that have 3. There's one that has 4, but just about 2 that have 4. But just about every ability in the game has 2 abilities. Each character has about 2 abilities. Now, on each character, I'm just going to kind of bring this over closer to you so you can see it. On these character cards, this is the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, they have these little symbols right here. You're going to need regular playing cards in order to actually play these. I'll go over that in a sec. And then they will have an associated cost. So in this case, to activate the Incredible Hulk's first ability, you would need 2 hearts. To activate his second ability, you just need a single spade. My only character that has an always active ability is Wolverine. Wolverine, as long as the conditions apply, this ability will always take an effect. Now, some characters have a negative always ability, so it's not necessarily always good, but that's kind of the way those work. Each individual character is going to have associated costs. Once you've chosen your characters, then your next step is you have to make an energy deck. Now, an energy deck basically these are just cards you're going to use to activate your abilities. Now, you need a deck of 20 cards. You can use a playing card. In most cases, each player will only need 1 deck of playing cards because you're not going to use all of this. There's only very, very few reasons why you would need more than 1 deck of playing cards. So just for the most part, just assume you only need 1. There might be a weird special exception, but good luck. In this case right here, I've chosen character. I only have 1 character that has a club, but it's Grimlock's ability, and it's kind of useful. I'm probably going to keep him as my sub, so I'm only going to put 2 clubs in my deck. Now you need a total of 20 energy cards in your deck just to keep them activated. So, but in this case right here, I'm just going to choose to have 2 clubs. Now I have quite a few characters that use hearts. Actually, every character left except for Wolverine needs hearts. Quite a few of them need spades, but 3 of them need spades. He doesn't need spade. Diamonds. So diamonds I don't need nearly as much of as well, but in order to activate some of these active abilities, such as the guild's really awesome heal ability, I need diamonds. So I'm going to choose to take 5 diamonds, just because I probably do want to activate that quite a bit, and it's just nice to have them in the deck. Most of my characters need hearts. Actually, the only one that doesn't is, again, Wolverine. Grimlock has an awesome attack ability that needs hearts. So I'm going to choose to actually take 7 hearts. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. What did I do, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So I now have 2 clubs, 7 hearts, 5 diamonds, and the remaining would be spades. So in this case, I'm going to need 6 spades. So let me just make sure that I've got this right. These 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now I've made my deck of 20 cards that my character needs. Again, you don't know what you're going to come up against. It could be anything. And you're going to want to shuffle them. Let me just check and make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so yes, this is a properly functioning deck. I'm just going to quickly shuffle that. This is now my energy pile. Now, the next thing that you need to do is you need to place your characters on the board. You're going to hold one back. You're going to choose to do everybody else. Just kind of you're going to put each other character wherever you like. There's kind of a whimsical strategy to this. Not much. Some characters really do want to be on a certain side of the board because they're going to want to move around. But in this case right here, not too worried. I think I'm going to put Spider-Man off to the end because it's nice to have him mobile. Wolverine can go here. I'll put Codex right here and the Incredible Hulk right here. It's kind of random. If you are playing two-player, you're going to probably want to play these things face down just so that your opponent doesn't know what exactly he's going to play and what he's going to play against. In this case right here, though, every character is capable of attacking, doing damage to the character that opposes them. So in this case, it really doesn't matter too much. Now, next thing I need to do is I want to put their associated hit points on. Now, hit points are on these dice, and they're listed on the card as well, right beside whether it's human, cartoon, machine, or other. Some characters will directly affect that. In this case right here, Wolverine really likes having human characters in play because during the upkeep, he heals 1 HP for each 2 human characters that are still in play. I'll go over healing when it comes up. So Spider-Man's going to start off with 2 6s, making a grand total of 12. Sephiroth is going to come up with, he's going to have 3, 3, and 4 hit points. Now this matters because even though he's not necessarily, these dice don't necessarily have it full, he's only got 11 hit points, but he could heal up if somebody comes in, like Codex, and does things that'll help him. The next, in this case, I'm going to put Wolverine. He's got 3 4s, so 1 4 dice, 1 4 dice, 1 4 dice. Finally, Codex has 2 4s. And then the last character is, in this case, the Incredible Hulk. He's the character that has my most hit points. He's got 18 HP. Having a lot of hit points is a very good thing in this game. It's not the only strategy, but it is one of the strategies. You can just take a whole bunch of characters that have a lot of hit points, and then that's just what your opponent has to beat. It's one viable option. There's many different viable options. Okay, and then I still have Grimlock sitting on the side, hoping how it works. On average, most characters have about 12 HP. There's a few exceptions to that rule, but that's kind of where you're going to see. Some will have much less, some will have much more, but that's kind of what you're expecting to see. Now, the opponent will actually choose now you have to set up, in this case, I'm playing a solitaire game, so I'm going to play against the director. The director now has these special cards. These special cards have abilities activated on them. In this game, I'm going to play against a web deck combined with a heal deck. So the director in this case, the opponent, is not actually going to be doing a lot of damage to me, but he's going to severely mess around with my ability to do anything. And his characters are just always going to be in top shape. So that's kind of how they works. With the director deck, now if you have an old copy of the director cards, it's going to have this and symbol right here. So it says add 1 HP dice or, and full heal. The actual truth is you're going to say add 1 HP dice or full heal. And you choose this at the beginning of the game. So whenever, I'm going to choose right now, whenever I get an HP dice, I'm going to actually choose to get the full heal. So each character is going to fully heal, should the little symbol actually come up on the card. So these are my cards. I'm going to take 5 out of 6 of these cards, so you're never quite sure which cards are going to come up. Yeah, but you'll have a pretty good idea, but it'll work out very much indifferently. So those are my 5. And then I'm going to choose another 5 from the other HP. Now you could just choose to randomly grab a whole bunch of director cards. If you are going to play that way, though, I can promise you the director probably won't do nearly as well. The director, your opponent, actually does much better if he has concise tactics. In other words, if he has a plan. And his plan basically is dictated by whichever director cards you actually have. 8 different sets of director cards available at the moment. Probably not going to increase this that much. Maybe if I do an expansion again. This game already includes the second expansion. There's a lot of game here. Probably just going to stick with that. So now these cards are here. I'm just going to randomly shuffle these kind of all over the place, just because it's the easiest way that I know to do this. That's kind of how these work. So now I'm going to consider these things shuffled. So we don't know what the director is going to do, but we know that we don't know what order he's going to do, but he really wants to web my characters, and he really wants to heal my characters. Healing characters in this game means adding pips to each of the dice. A full heal would mean reset all the available dice on a specific character to 6 HP. So that's the maximum that they can have. Just because a character has let's take a look at the Incredible Hulk. He actually has 3 dice with 6 HP each. He cannot heal anymore, and the reason being is because all his dice are at max. Wolverine has the same amount as 3 dice, but each of these dice actually only has 4 HP, so they can actually heal up to 6. So he could go up to 18 if he can get enough dice there. But you're going to need to activate abilities to do that. If the director card actually says do a full heal on a character, that means to take all the dice available and reset them to 6. Now, as dice get removed, so say he took 4 damage, say Wolverine took 4 damage, that's going to limit his ability to heal more. If he was going to do a full heal now the most he could get would be 12. And that's how the healing effect works. As opposed, something opposed to all of this, the other possibility that you would actually see would be something called a web token in this deck. Now, web tokens, you can use dice, you can just use whatever you like. A web token effectively is just some kind of little timer. If a web token exists on a character, Spider-Man one of his abilities is actually place web tokens on opposing characters. If they have this, that means that they can no longer use any of their abilities until the last web token is removed. Web tokens effectively just make that character stuck. He's stuck in place. He can't. Well, another character could move him with a different ability, but he can't do anything himself. All his abilities become null. If he had an ability that will actually do damage, well, that becomes null. He can't do anything. Effectively, he's just a stump until he gets out of the web. I'll go over how you get those off of them once we actually start getting the gameplay. This is kind of the situation I have so far. One of the other things you're going to see in the deck is what they call boost tokens. Boost tokens, again, you can use. I like to use different colored dice just to kind of indicate, okay, well, these are boost tokens. You can start off with 1, and then you get another boost token, you get 2 or 3. Boost tokens are something very simple. Boost tokens simply do. They add to the damage of whatever the character can actually do. So in other words, if I put 1 boost token here, and I activate, Sephiroth's first ability is to do 3 magic damage to the opposing character. I'll go over magic damage later, once we actually do it. Effectively, I'll mention it really quickly. Magic damage in this game right here, it's basically the same thing as doing damage, with a couple of exceptions of some characters actually will do more damage if there's something in magic. So some characters are weak against magic damage. Otherwise, it's basically the same thing as regular damage. In this case right here, yeah, it doesn't affect anything. But, so his ability, getting back to Sephiroth and boost tokens, if Sephiroth actually had the ability to do 3 magic damage to the opposing character, and I put a boost token on it, now he's going to do 3 magic damage to the opposing character plus 1 regular damage. If he starts accumulating more, he's going to keep adding to this boost tokens. So to do 3 magic damage to the opposing, do 3 magic damage. Now he's going to do 5 damage. If I had 6 boost tokens on it, I'd do 3 plus 6, and that'd be 9 damage. Now, in Sephiroth's case, he has a second ability that also does damage. It says, do 10 damage to the opposing character, and then do 2 damage to Sephiroth. And this ability cannot be boosted. What it means to say when it cannot be boosted means that if you're going to activate this second ability, you cannot add boost tokens to that ability. So pumping a whole bunch of boost tokens makes Sephiroth's second ability weaker. But he's doing 2 damage to the opponent, and he's doing 2 damage to himself. So that's kind of how Sephiroth works. And that's kind of a little bit of how magic damage works, and that's how boost tokens work. Boost tokens are critical in this game. Now, unfortunately, in the way that I actually chose my characters, I don't have any way of adding boost tokens. The director deck will give me boost tokens. If you're playing a 2-pair game, you're also going to grab 10 random characters in total. 10 random director cards as well. 10 random director cards per player. At the bottom of these player, each of these things will also add a boost token to one of your characters, depending on their position on the board. The game lasts 10 rounds, so the director has 10 cards in his director deck. Once this deck is exhausted, this game is over. Lots of rules going on. Hope you're not too confused so far. I'm kind of going all over the board because there's just a lot of different things going on in the game and a lot of things that are happening at the same time. So to recap, I'm going to back up a little bit. Yeah, I've selected my characters. I put them on the board. I put HP dice on each of the characters. I've made a director deck, so the director's going to have an ability. Now the next thing that I need to do is I need to actually make the director character deck. Because I'm playing the regular difficulty, I'm going to grab the top 7 character cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have to have more HP at the end of the game than the opponent's director. Of course, you always have to have an open field space available. So there's always got to be one space open. That includes for the director as well. So I'm going to take the top 5 cards, and they're going to be randomly placed on the board. So I'm just going to place them. I'm going to leave the space number 1 open. I'm going to dictate this as being number 1. So this is space. It will stay open. This character is going to go here. We have the Macross from Robotech. We have White Goodman from Dodgeball. We have Claudia Donovan from Warehouse 13. We've got Sherlock Holmes. He's a weird character, but that's okay. And then we finally have Jack Torrance from The Shining. Yes, everything versus everything. This game will do all sorts of crazy stuff. Now, I've set up I kind of went through the deck before just to kind of have an idea of what I was just to save some time. In this case, Jack Torrance will get a 4, 4, and a 3. Sherlock Holmes gets a 6 and a 4. Claudia Donovan gets a 4 and a 4. White Goodman gets a 5 and a 5. And finally, Macross gets 6 and a 6. Now, because you can't actually see these cards, I'm just going to flip them so that I can see them, so I can play the game properly. In this case, I'm just going to go over some of the things that the opponent can do. The opponent's character cards. Now actually, before I do that, the game is now essentially set up for play. I have to have more HP than the opponent. This card right here, the HP on this dice will count at the end of the game if I haven't played it. But at any time, I can take my sub and replace one of my characters on the board with this character. Just in case, like, say I need to use this character, so that's always available. I have to beat the opponent's 2 cards. You can see them, I can't. I don't know what these are. If at any point a character gets removed, they get removed. If on the director's card an attack icon comes up, so some place tells me to put an attack icon on your character, and there's only 4 spaces available, I would take one of these characters and stick them on the board. Lots of things going on in the game. Hope I haven't confused you so much so far. I've only just went over rules explanation. I haven't actually went over the game. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to quickly scan through the characters, because I know how these work. White Goodman, when first deployed, place 4 dodge tokens on this character. So he's going to get 4 dodge tokens. I'm just going to take these little tokens right here. When this character is hit with any attack, you may remove 1 dodge token and spend 1 energy card to ignore all effects of this attack. So he's going to... White Goodman, the AI will always choose to do so. So I have to attack this guy 4 times before I'm ever going to get these dice off. He's annoying. Lots of characters are annoying. He's just annoying. So he's just going to be difficult to heal. I may not have to actually try to get him off the board. Claudia Donovan has she has an ability that will allow a person to spend 6 cards, but that doesn't do anything to this thing. Sherlock Holmes has a very weird active ability. Sorry, a very weird ability. Randomly choose a character that is not. So if he attacks, he doesn't actually attack. Instead, what he does is he just gets removed from the game, and you grab a random character card from the character deck, so one of the cards that was set aside, and then that card becomes this card. So attacking him kind of gets useless until the point where he just shuffles and turns to something else. And Jack Torrance, at the end of the round, which that does not cause damage to an opposing character, Jack gains a boost token. So if he doesn't do anything, he gets a boost token. If he has more than 6 boost tokens, then he is exchanged with the opposing character with the fewest HP and loses all of his boost tokens. So he's kind of weird. He's going to do attack, but if he just sits there and does nothing, and he just drinks, in this case he drinks red rum, then if he just sits idle, he gets antsy. At some point, he just gets more powerful and antsy. But at some point, he's probably going to switch over side and lose all his boost tokens. Which is just kind of strange. So, kind of a weird game all around. But that's the way this thing's going to work out. These are all shuffled. I'm now going to begin the game. I've got my deck of cards. These are all kind of set aside. Everything's looking hunky-dory. Now, I'm playing against the in the direct. When you're playing a solitaire game, the director always goes first, unless you have a character that says otherwise. There's only one character that'll do that. If you're playing 2-player, then what you would need, each player would need to roll 1 dice. Whoever rolls higher is the first player that round. That's kind of how that would work. This is supposed to happen after the upkeep. There's a few reasons why you might want to do it before. Honestly, it won't change too much if you just do it before, so you can just choose to do that just before. I wrote it in the rules different, but it won't change too much. Okay, now the director's going to choose to do his thing first. So he's going to draw his first card, and he's got a whole bunch of symbols list on his card. Now, in this case right here, you go. There's a grid of there's two rows of 6. With 6 spaces each. You just take a look at the character space on here, and you execute whatever the ability is on these cards. In this case right here, space number 1 attacks, but there's no character, so nothing happens. In case number 3, White Goodman gets 1 boost. Lucky him. I'm just going to take the red one and do this. He gets 1 boost token. And then in this case right here, the Sherlock Holmes attacks. But Sherlock Holmes attacking does nothing in this game, so it doesn't matter. That's right. He gets what it does is it removes him from the game. So now he's out of the game. That was fun. And I'm now going against Belana Torres, who does has 6 and 5, so she's pretty powerful. And then when she attacks, she does 1 damage to the opposing character and draws energy cards. So she doesn't actually have a lot of attack power, but that's fine. Now here's where life gets annoying for me. 2 of my characters get webbed. In this case right here, this guy would have gained a boost token, but there's nobody there. Codex gets a web. So until she gets these things off of her, she can't do anything. I'm just going to use these. Again, they're just kind of multifunction. So she's got 2 webs. And then right here, and then Sephiroth also gets webbed. And now the director's turn is over. Lots of hoopla and lots of rules explanations, but the actual gameplay is actually pretty fluid and pretty fast. So that was the director card. He's executed his card. Now I choose to draw. Well, no, basically I draw 3 cards per round. Each round you're going to draw 3 cards, and then you can choose to spend them or you can choose to save them. I'm in a good situation for. I'm in a good situation for Wolverine to do damage, so probably should do that. I drew a spade, a diamond, and a heart. And I need a diamond and a heart to actually activate his ability. So I'm going to do it. So I spend these. I'm going to keep this 1 card, this 1 heart here, because I can't use it. And then, what does it do? It says I have to do 2 damage to the opposing character and then roll a die. If you roll a 4, 5, or 6, then add 1 damage and then roll again. Keep rolling until you roll a 1, 2, or 3. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this 4 down to a 2. Now I'm going to roll a dice. 5. So I have 1 more damage. So 1. And then roll again. 2. And I bust. So that was his ability. His ability is spent. That's all I can do per round. So of this round. So I don't actually have a lot of staying power, but that was just probably the most reasonable thing I could do at that moment. I guess I could have webbed Jack Torrance, but whatever. I'll take damage. You can, again, you have to use these cards and actually activate your abilities. Okay, so that's the end of the round. At the end of the round, some characters have their any kind of tokens on them removed, and some characters don't. There's little symbols that'll say whether or not they're removed. They're actually in the card. Look in the rules to see that. But in this case, web tokens get removed. So how do I get these off? Well, time. In this case, so these web tokens now get removed. So now there's only 2. When the final web token is removed, then the character can act again. In this case, okay. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the next ability. So the director just drew one of his what they call Uber cards. Now the Uber cards basically do a hyper effect of whatever is in play. This is really good for the director in most cases for all his characters. It probably would have been better if he had taken a lot of damage, but at the same token, it's still pretty good. It's always good for this thing to come out. So what happens? He got a full healed. He got the full healed Uber card. So White Goodman now has 6 and 6, making him much harder to heal. Claudie Donovan, who I just whittled down and was trying to get this dice removed, just regained all of it. So she's now huge. Lana Torres gains 1 hit HP. Oh, sorry, and Jack Torrance gets lots of HP. So he's just become a powerhouse too. I'm kind of hoping he's going to switch sides though. Now, I forgot, at the end of last round, because he has at the end of this round, he gained the boost token, which is good, except for when he's doing damage. But it'll be really good should he gain his get 5 dice, because then he's just going to switch sides. So that was the entirety of the director turn. This is the Uber cards also do not give you a boost token on your side. So if you're playing with a multiplayer and you have a boost token, you discard it, just grab another random director card. So your character should reasonably have a reasonable chance of getting a boost token. But again, I kind of got screwed. So now my turn. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 3 characters off the top of my deck. I've got those 3. What do we got? I got lots of hearts, and that actually makes the Hulk potentially do lots of damage. Now this is one of those weird things in this game. It's actually really powerful for tokens to do damage if they're going to get webbed, because tokens do not get webbed. Characters gets webbed, characters' abilities gets webbed, but if a token is placed on the board, it actually survives. It survives any kind of webbing, because once the ability is cast, it doesn't do anything. Hulk had 2 abilities. One of the reasons why I chose him is because he actually, if you use a spade, you can basically remove tokens from the Hulk or any other character, and they can be of any type. So I can potentially remove these web tokens, provided I actually had some spades. I don't in this case. But he also has, his first ability says, place a rage token on the Hulk. When removing a rage token, do 6 damage to the opposing character. This damage cannot be boosted. So tokens themselves don't, like any boost tokens put on a character with an attacking ability with boost tokens, that boost can, you can't boost a token's ability to do damage, but you can boost a character's ability to do damage. The weird little distinction, but in this case, boost tokens on the Hulk don't do anything. What I can do though is I'm going to spend these four hearts to pump some to basically put 2 his rage tokens on the Hulk. Now these rage tokens are going to keep removed. When the last one gets removed, then they basically do, actually sorry, just 1 rage token. So they're going to do 6 damage each, making the Hulk pretty powerful. So at the beginning of next turn upkeep, provided the Hulk doesn't get removed and it doesn't get killed, probably not going to happen. He's going to do he's going to do 6 damage for each of those that do so. So that's going to do 12 damage. That's pretty powerful. That's how that works. Obviously, if I was playing against a live player, the live player would probably try to figure out some way to get the Macross out of the way so he couldn't actually take the damage. So the Hulk is right now just getting angry, and next turn he's going to smash. Okay, that's how that worked. Next turn. Still going. The game actually does play pretty fast. So now I got a regular director card. Okay, so in this case, the director attacks. He heals this base right here. This guy attacks. So Robotech attacks. Sorry, the Macross attacks. It does 1 damage to the opposing character. There's 5. Do 1 additional damage to the opposing character for each of your defeated characters. He doesn't actually have any defeated characters. This guy's just removed from the game, so he's not a defeated character. So that's all he did. He just did 1 little damage. That was it. White Goodman gets a full heal. Don't care. Claudia Donovan gets a full heal. Don't care. Lana Torres does 1 damage. She gets an attack ability. So she does hers is do damage the opposing character and draw an energy card. So in this case, he goes down 2. Now, I have to choose to assign damage to 1 dice. Now, the reason why I would probably choose this 4 and get it down to a 3 is because now that still opens my options of potentially healing these characters. But if I can in any way, if any character does the opponent does damage to them, then they would get they get to choose which dice. But if you actually could remove a dice, you have to remove it first before you can assign damage to a new dice. And all damage must be assigned to 1 die if possible. Okay, you can find that in the rules. Finally, Jack Torrance gets another boost token. Oh, and he actually got another boost token from the last round because he didn't activate it again. One of those little upkeep things. So now he's actually got 3. Meaning that he's getting more and more powerful, which kind of sucks. Well, it's good. It's just he's going to swap out and give me lots of HP, and he's going to replace one of my characters that has the least HP. So that's kind of good. I apologize. I also didn't play this one properly. Wolverine, for the past 2 rounds, because you can always keep track, which is nice, he gets the ability to heal for every human character in play, rounded down. He heals 1 HP for every 2 human characters that are in play, rounded down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's actually going to go up 3 HP each round, meaning that he's now 6, 4. Yeah, actually he went exactly 6. So now he's actually at full strength, which is good. Still need to figure out how to eliminate some of those characters. That was all his, and now one of my characters gets boosted. Right. Okay, so one of my characters gets boosted. In this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Wolverine got boosted, which is good. You want Wolverine doing more damage. Or at least I want Wolverine doing more damage, because he's powerless. That's how he worked. Next. Okay, so now that was the director's turn. Now it's my turn. My turn is I draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. 2 hearts and a spade. I've got lots of abilities to do stuff. Jack Torrance is looking kind of ugly in that he can actually do a fair amount of damage. He basically can do 5 damage, which is pretty good. Still can't activate Sephiroth, or I still can't activate Sephiroth or Codex because they're abilities and stuff. I could try to remove one of these if I really want to do these next round. I could place another boost token and actually take out Macross. Potentially. That sounds pretty good. So I could choose to have... It's probably best for me to try to eliminate the Macross, just because he's got a lot of HP. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep this spade. And I'll consider just basically, you never know what you're going to need next round. Hang on. I did these last round. I apologize, I got to back up. These boost tokens were removed at the end of the last round, which means that these things were removed. And now, so now he's down lots of HP. And I just put another boost token on him. So next round, Macross is dead. He's during the upkeep phase, which is exactly what's going to happen right now. End of turn. Jack Torrance didn't attack, so he gets another one. 4. Okay. That was that round. Yep. And now I reset the board. Okay, so now at the beginning of this upkeep phase, 2 things would happen. Wolverine would heal, but he's at full health, so that's going to do nothing. This thing is removed. Macross is now... the Macross has now been removed from the game. I have now successfully done some damage to the opposing character, which is awesome. Now I'm going to sit there and see if the director deck is going to pull out another character here so I can actually potentially beat him. In this case, So now, right here, the director is going to web me again. Oh, sorry. The other thing that happened at the beginning of the round was 2 of these web tokens got removed. Okay, so nothing happens here. Nothing happens here. White Goodman gets boosted again. Great. I almost want him to actually do some damage to Codex so that when Jack Torrance switches sides, which would be probably next turn, he will he'd actually go against Codex, but we'll see. In this case right here, Claudia Donovan attacks. So she does one damage to the opposing character, then remove 1 boost token from the opposing character and place it on any friendly character. Nice. That sucks. So 1 damage, so 5. Now it doesn't say. It does say place the AI token on a friendly character with the fewest boost tokens. Player chooses if tied. So in this case, it does say which one to do. I'm going to choose to put that on Claudia. Actually, I put it on Blana Torres because she's going to be easier to beat. None of these guys had boost tokens. He's got 4 boost tokens. He's got 2, so it would either be Claudia Donovan or Blana Torres. Blana Torres is looking easier to beat. We'll see how that whole thing plays out. And then finally, Jack Torrance does in fact attack, which sucks because, well, it's not terrible, but I really would have liked to keep Spider-Man as opposed to the guild, but we'll see how the whole thing plays out. So he did 6 damage, which removes this dice. Then if there's no not a character in play, then if there's not a character in play in the opposing space to an empty space, move Jack to the empty space with an opposing character. So in this case right here, there's a character still in play, so he just stays there. He just removed one of the dice from Spider-Man. That kind of sucks, but I'll live. Okay, now nothing happens. He gets webbed. Codex gets boosted. That's cool. I'll give her a boost token. Now, even though she's webbed, she still gains boost tokens. It's something that happened to her. But otherwise, that's kind of the way that works. And then Spider-Man gets webbed, which is fine because he's about to transfer over to the other side anyway. So if you're going to web somebody, you may as well web the guy who's about to get transferred over. Okay, that's how that card worked. We are now almost halfway through the game. I'm going to draw 3 cards. And I got 2 spades. So now at this point I've got 2 spades, a diamond, and a club. I've got my only club. And the club basically is going to sit in my hand because I can't do anything with it until I choose to bring out Grimlock. And I'm not going to choose to bring out Grimlock because I'm actually doing pretty good. What I do want to do is I guess I can remove. Oh, you know what? If I had one more spade, I could do something really cool, but I can't. I could attack with Wolverine, but he's actually sitting pretty good. I'm just going to leave him as is. Well, actually, one of the things I could have done, I was supposed to do during the upkeep phase was heal him, but I'll just heal him next round because he's going to get. Nothing's going to happen anyway. That's this game. Okay, so I'm still keeping all these cards. There's really not many cases where you're forced to discard cards, which is good. There's a few characters that'll do it. There's one director card that'll do it, but keeping your cards is usually a pretty safe bet. So I'm just going to choose to wait. Now, so now we activate. Now we're on the 5th round. We are now at the final half of the game. Before you do that, you have to sit there and look through the effects and see if anything happens. These boost tokens do get removed. So now I have access to Sephiroth and Codex again, which is good. Spider-Man. Oh, sorry. At the end of the round, at the end of the last round, Jack Torrance gained a boost token. Also, I actually don't lose him yet. Oh, that sucks. So he's now got 5 boost tokens. So he's going to do 7 damage. He could potentially wipe out Spider-Man. So maybe I probably should move him around. At the end of this always after at the end of the round, the Jack does not cause damage to an opposing character. Jack gains a boost token. If he has more than 6 boost tokens, these exchange with the opposing character. So next round, Jack Torrance will switch sides, provided he doesn't actually attack this round. Well, sorry, it's going to happen regardless, but you can see if he actually takes one of my characters. Wolverine heals, and there's still lots of human characters, so that didn't change. Yeah, that's all I got. Okay, so that's how that played out. Now we choose the next character card. Sorry, the next director card, which is right here. Okay, we have a full heal. That actually worked. Full heal, doesn't affect anything. White Goodman attacks. He does 2 damage to the opposing character, so 4 damage in this case. Oh, nice. So that did some good damage. On a result 1 or 2, the character may immediately counterattack using this ability at no energy cost. Okay, so I'm going to roll a die. So, on a result of 1 or 2, it can immediately counterattack using this ability at no character cost. This ability meaning the ability that White Dodgeman just used. So he's going to do 2 damage too. So he's now at 4. So he's now at 10. Now this ability, it's not dodged. Actually, sorry, is it dodged? Is hit with any attack. He was just hit with an attack, so that's going to cause him to dodge. AI always does that. So actually, he didn't actually take the hit. He just chooses to dodge it. But spends one of his energy tokens to do it. So that's how White Goodman did. That effectively nulled his thing, but now potentially eventually you can probably do some hits to him. Good. Next, what happens? Oh, sorry. Okay, now we're to this wing. Claudia Donovan does some damage. She does 1 damage and then removes a boost token. So back to 5, which is not doing anything. That's fine. Belana Torres gets another boost token, so she's getting more powerful. She's got 2. Next, he gets a full heal, but he's already fully healed. And 1, 2, 3, he gets another boost token. Sure. So I'm just going to take this one. Okay, so now that was that. And that's the director's full turn. Now I draw 3 cards. Now I got lots of speeds, which is great because he can actually do attack. I'd really, really love to have a heart because then he could do 10 damage, which would almost take her out. But even doing so, what can I do that's useful? I have 1 diamond, which will allow me to full heal 1 die of that character card. That's probably useful. He's going to do that. I'm going to keep the club. I'm going to fully heal one of the dice, 1 die on Sephiroth. So one of these 3s is going to go to a 6, and I've got the ability to actually do 6 damage, because 3 magic damage. To this is going to take 1 of the HP die off of Belana Torres. Okay, and now I keep a club and a speed. And that's how those work. That's the end of the round. Jack Torrance gets another boost token, putting him at 6. Now that effectively causes him to. He has more than 6. Oh, so he actually needs one more, so he doesn't actually change over next round. It's next round he's going to change, so he's still in play, which really kind of bites. But he'll switch over and hopefully somebody survive. Now it'll be Kodos that would move, not Spider-Man. That'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Yep, that's kind of how we play. I might actually want to get rid of somebody. Because I can sub during my turn at any time, knowing that he didn't swap over yet. She's not really doing damage. I'm just completely gambling here. I'm just going to save it. We'll see what happens. Next. Okay, so at the beginning of the energy, he heals up. At the beginning next round, he heals up again to 6. One of these things gets removed. Nothing yet. Nothing. Well, use it, and yeah. Okay, so that's that round. Next is so now that was the upkeep phase. Now we do the director phase again. And all his heals are sitting right in the middle, which is fine by me. White Goodman attacks, does 4 damage, which is enough to wipe her out. So, unfortunately, Codex died. Claudia Donovan heals, but she's already at full heal. Lana Torres attacks. Now she can do 3 damage. I'd love to assign it to this thing, but an HP die can get removed, so it does. Which kind of sucks. And he does a full heal again. And 3 over. Wolverine gets another boost token, which is good. Right. That was the director's turn. As you can see, the game actually, once you actually get going, the game plays out pretty fast. Sorry, I grab 3 boost tokens. So now what do we got? A heart, a diamond, a spade, and a club. So I now have the ability to wipe out Lana Torres. I will choose to do so. Because I need a heart, a diamond, and a spade. So she can die. Now, it seems like I'm completely kicking the director's butt. That's not the case, because I still have to attack these 2 characters. These 2 characters over here. Now, they still have to get on the board. I'm looking pretty good. Like, this is looking pretty good for the moment, but hard to say for sure. Hard to say for sure because I don't know how this whole thing's going to play out just yet. At the end of this round, that's the end of this round. The end of the round, Jack Torrance gets another boost tie, but now he has more than 6, so he switches sides, and he's going to switch sides with Spider-Man, shifting on the other side. If you're wondering one of the reasons why having he was saying 6, why having the dice, like why using dice is better than using the little dice cards. The major reason why is because moving characters becomes just a real pain when you're using the dice cards, because you have to shift everything all around this way. The characters I chose in this game didn't really move around that much, but it does make a difference. Okay. Things are looking pretty good for me so far, though. Next round. Anything that happens. He would heal. Nothing happens. He's still. Oh, sorry. This web token is removed, and yeah, my character's just gonna sit idle. Okay, so next one is a web, and this one is actually gonna do a fair amount of damage. But okay, so boost attack, nothing there. Spider-Man can attack. He does 2 damage. 2 damage, so he does 2 damage. Oh, sorry, an attack. This is exactly what I want. An attack is going to bring out Solid Sneak Out with 6 HP. Sorry, with 12 HP. I'll go over what his ability does when he actually comes out. But Spider-Man does attack. He does 2 damage, so 4, bringing Jack Torrance down to 4. And then he moves to any space, open space on the director's side of the board. If the AI then player chooses where, so I'm going to choose to move him over to here where he can't actually do anything. I'm okay with that. Maybe he'll move back at some point, and then Jack Torrance can go crazy. But we'll see. But now, the Hulk gets a useless boost token. Keep in mind, boost tokens on the Hulk don't do anything. Unfortunately, Wolverine gets webbed, and so does Jack Torrance. So now I draw 2 cards, but sorry, I always draw 3 cards, but I only had 2 in the thing. So what happens now at this point is I take my deck and shuffle it, and then draw another card. So shuffle it, and then I draw a card. So now in this hand I've got 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, and a spade. Now those 2 clubs are going to sit there and really not do a lot. I cannot activate. Well, I could use the spade to remove a time token, but that's not going to really do that much for me. Removing a time token is not going to do that much for me, so I'll probably hold. I'd love to do the other ones. I could choose to sub Grimlock here, but right now I'm doing pretty good in terms of HP, so I'm just going to hold off. I could, however, remove one of those dodge tokens off him, but it's not going to really do that much, so I'll just hold. I'm probably going to, at some point, I probably want to take off these time tokens off the Wolverine. So that's it for that round. It was fast. Okay, so in this case right here, the 2 web tokens get removed. I think during the upkeep. I think that's all that happens, because he's still not taking any damage and can't do anything. Yep. Yeah, none of his characters have any end of ability. So, and now the wonderful thing with this thing is all my characters get webbed, which means that I don't think I can actually do anything for the rest of the game. One of the weird things about this game though is that web tokens count as stacks. So they count as stacks. Individual stacks. So whenever, like, in other words, whenever you put like a stack of web tokens on the board, if it has another stack on it, those stacks are going to act separate from each other. When those stacks act separate from each other, effectively, like, you're taking one off each stack. That's just to say, okay, well, basically, the Wolverine, all my characters now can't do anything for the next 3 rounds. There's only 2 rounds of the game. This is looking very interesting. It's going to be a very tight game. We'll see, because I don't know what this card is. But on the board, it looks like I'm losing. But we'll see. Okay. Because I still haven't actually used my sub. I could somehow, if I chose to, I could choose to sub out this character here and take out one of their characters. Let's see what happens. Because it might actually be worth taking out one of their guys. Just to see. Okay. His ability doesn't take effect because he's webbed, so he'd normally be gaining boost tokens, but it's not going to do anything at the moment. His round was that. I couldn't do anything, but I do draw 3 cards. So we'll see. Now, finally, end a round. I just start removing boost tokens. Okay, director now does. She's right. That web, the webs just happened. They just remove them for 2 rounds. So those things that happen, I still will potentially get another round. We'll see. Yeah, actually, no, I do get 1 more round. So now, of course, we have attack. This guy attacks. Nothing happens. Oh, but he moves. So let's move him next to Sephiroth. Nothing happens. Sorry, he attacks, but there's no opposing character, so it doesn't matter. There would be a character that might get boosted here. Nothing happens. In this case, right here, the Hulk gets 3 more webs, and Sephiroth gets 3 more webs. No, not Sephiroth. Sephiroth remains okay. Wolverine gets 3 more tokens. And our good buddy Sephiroth gets a boost token. So, still can't do anything. I do draw 3 cards. We'll see. I could choose to activate them right now. Possibly Sephiroth with that. Actually, one of the things I could do right now that might be useful is I might be able to just swap in Grimlock and then just do remove Spider-Man. Because then I'm gambling to see what that is. Spider-Man doesn't necessarily do a lot of damage. Sephiroth. No, because I don't want to do that because I want to hold off and see what happens with these. So this is now the final turn of the game. A whole bunch of web tokens get removed, which is good. This one gets removed. I only have 2 characters that can actually act this round, Sephiroth being one of them. Let's see what happens. Full heal. Sorry. Full heal. He's fully healed, doesn't matter. White Gunman attacks, doesn't do anything. Claudia Donovan does, she attacks. She does 1 damage and then gives a boost token uselessly to somebody else. So that goes down to 5. This is going to run on 1 boost token. And 1 boost token goes here. Fully healed, doesn't matter. And then boost token. And Sephiroth gets another boost token. So, that's the director's final turn. Now, final turn, and then I end the game. And then we'll figure out how I did. So I do draw 3 more. Well, it'd be ridiculous for me not to take out Sephiroth. So I need to cast. Sorry, not to take out Spider-Man. So I just need to cast out 3 of those. 3. Good thing I didn't get attacked. I got lucky. So Spider-Man's removed. Those are spent. I still have him. So this is looking a lot better for me. I'm actually probably going to win this one. But we'll see. Yeah, I'm going to win this one. Is there any damage more that I can do? Nope, because nobody can move. One of the things I could choose to do is I could choose to discard all my cards and move every character 1 space in any directions, provided there's a space open. But I wouldn't do that because that's not going to actually, once you have to discard your whole hand. You always have to be able to discard at least 1 card to do that. So effectively that could be an option. But that's the end of the game. Now let's see how we did. So I flip over Grimlock, and he flips over Dr. Doug Ross. He got a total of 9 HP from that, but I got a total of 12 HP from that. So now we total up and see how we did. So this is the grand total of HP that we have. I think I'm clearly in the winner here. I've got how many 6s here? I'm just going to shift these over and make it a 6, and then turn this into a 2. So I've got 60 HP right here, plus 60, so 71 HP, and he's got, oh yeah, I definitely beat him. he has 12, 24, 36. 36 plus 9 is, yes, I'm not good with mental math. 36 plus 9 is 45. So I have 71 to 45. 71 to 45, so I clearly defeated the AI. That's how this game plays out. Thanks for watching. I appreciate any interest you have in this game. If you have any questions, you're welcome to post on the forums for the specific of this game. I will try to answer them as best I can. I have rewritten the rulebook yet again, so it should be even more clear, even with the expansion, how character cards work. I don't think there's any changes that need to be made. I think it more be rule clarifications, but the game works just fine. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're still interested in the game. If you are, go ahead and print it up, or you can print it up on Printer Studio as well. I'm going to leave those links open up until somebody tells me I have to take it down, because I've obviously broken every copyright law possible. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Tell me what you think.